Hello, good to have everyone. Some familiar faces, some new faces. Thank you everybody for joining us. And some of you know the drill. If you can just type in the chat as to where you're joining from. And thank you for helping us test in public with what seems to we know is the first time ever with StreamAlive. I'm excited about this. Peter, what do you think?
Yeah, very excited. I just want to check, are you sharing your screen? Or do you have to, there's a tab in Zoom you have to click on. Yeah, there's a tab. Sorry. I was just seeing everybody's faces.
And are you seeing my screen now?
I can see it, but it's a tab in Zoom.
Yep. All right, so folks, if you can just type where you're joining from, and while you're doing that, I'll just explain what's happening here for, especially for those of you for whom this is a first introduction to StreamAlive or to StreamAlive in PowerPoint, both of which we are super excited about. But the latter is what we are here to test today. I'm Lux Narayan. I'm a co-founder and the CEO at StreamAlive, and right now I'm struggling with adding anyone as a co-host, which doesn't look very good on me. I don't know if it's Zoom or me, but I've added a couple of our team members as co-hosts, and Zoom refuses to allow me to do that. So I'm going to try and juggle as much as I can. But here's what's happening. You are seeing PowerPoint on my screen right now, and thank you for joining us in this test. So, warning, things can break, things will break. I would be very, very surprised if nothing breaks. But what we're testing is, for the first time ever, the ability for the audience inputs, in this case in Zoom, to write a PowerPoint slide in real time. So you're writing the slide on my PowerPoint in real time. So all of you have typed where you're joining from, and I can simply fly over and say, oh, we got Peter in Cairo where it's 96 Fahrenheit and it's 5 in the evening. We've got, I can also zoom in if I wanted. I can say we've got Duncan in Shillong where it's 66 Fahrenheit. I could focus on just Europe if I wanted to and move the map around there and look who all are joining from there and say, all right, hey, Syed, always lovely to have you. Thank you for the continued support, my friend. Syed's in Dortmund, where it's 64 Fahrenheit and it's 4 in the evening. They do centigrade in Germany, so we're going to make that 17.6 degrees centigrade. But you get the idea. I mean, a lot of people start their session with asking this question. And more often than not, they're sharing a PowerPoint in Zoom. There's a title slide. Hey, where's everybody joining from? People put it, they eyeball it, they acknowledge 2 people and ignore the remaining 28. And that's what we want to change, literally by having the audience share where they're joining from and have that show up on the presenter slide as is happening on my slide right now. So what you're seeing here is our app StreamAlive embedded inside a PowerPoint slide. Right? This has never happened before, where Zoom or you could do this with Teams as well, or Google Meet can, and if you so want, Twitch and YouTube. But I would be surprised if anyone use it for that. You could use that and the chat to write a slide. Let me show you a few things of what is possible. Again, we are trying to develop this thing of building this out and sharing progress every week in public. So those of you who joined us earlier, you will hopefully see more than a few incremental improvements over what you saw earlier. For those of you who are here for the first time, we hope you love what you see, and please do share your feedback as well. Right.
I would just add as well, if you
Peter
like
Duncan
what you
as
see,
well for people.
and if you like what you see and you're adventurous, we are looking for beta testers to try this out. So please let us know if you're interested.
So we're giving beta access very, very soon on this for people to play around. And by the way, this is a multiple. So if you use PowerPoint, Keynote, and Google Slides, you can type 1, 2, and 3 as separate comments, or you could type 1, 2, 3. So folks, if you can just type what you use for creating your presentations, again, just type a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4 or a 5 or whatever in the chat. And this gives me a sense of what's in the room. Beautiful, thank you. We've got a lot of PowerPoint, which is in the lead right now. Google Slides and Canva. Wow, I'm surprised to see a lot more Canva than we've been seeing in the past. And Figma, and we've got a few users on Gamma as well. So Gamma users, we're planning to do a similar integration with Gamma next after PowerPoint. So we're going to start with number 1 and then number 6, but you're going to see similar magic coming up with Gamma as well, where Gamma can then be used for conversations. But since today's topic is PowerPoint, I'm actually kind of relieved that the majority of people are still in PowerPoint. So love it or hate it, PowerPoint is the number one thing for creating presentations. Peter, what do you create presentations on?
I am a Microsoft fanboy, so it's always going to be PowerPoint. But Google Slides also is very useful as well, putting together something pretty quick. I've tried others. I've tried Gamma, and it just didn't feel right. I think I want to still be able to create the slides and create the content and layouts myself. Um, I know a lot of people are using Figma for it now, but I've not tried that myself.
You should talk to Arba Cooper and AC Hill and Tina, who all seem to be fans of Gamma. So they would they would beg to disagree with you, but hey, that's another thing about love. You can call out people and talk about who chose an option and have a conversation around that. And I always thought that's a lot of fun. So first thing I want to point out is that I'm 2 slides in on my presentation. This is my third slide, and this is the only slide I've actually authored. So the first 2 slides were written by the audience in real time, where you shared where you're joining from and you shared what platforms you're doing. So it just felt a lot more like a conversation rather than a monologue, rather than just having talking slides. And this is my first talking slide, which is that it's 38 years since PowerPoint launched. And ever since then, we've been making one-way presentations. And yeah, we have all these new apps. I love Gamma personally as well. I've used almost all the apps over here, except I think Figma. I haven't used Figma for making slide decks. I've used it for other things. But better slides. It's easier to create a piece of content. It's easier to automate the design and make the slides look good. But we think there's still something missing. And before I volunteer our opinion, I'm just curious about this because I've heard such a mixed bag of responses. So, open-ended question. For those of you who've used AI tools in slides, what are your thoughts on AI automating slide creation? I mean, whether you're using Gamma or you're using Copilot with Microsoft, or whether you are using one of the new other ones, Beautiful.ai or Presentations.ai. I'd love to know what your thoughts on. So just in the meantime. And sucks right now, needs a lot of improvements. So Kirishi, yes, I think it's a starting point, but yes, it certainly needs a lot of improvements. And I'm trying to see if the other comments are coming in. We don't have all of the others coming in. Let me pause it and see if some of the others came in. Yeah, it actually came in there, just wasn't visualizing over here. So see how some of the responses you put creates very generic. For those of you who just joined us, quick catch up. I'm Lux Narayan, co-founder at StreamAlive. Thank you for helping us publicly test what is a first. And we're trying to do this every week. Some of you I see were here last week. Shanti, thank you for being here again. Said, of course, and a few other people who've been there before. We want to share progress as we're making it every week with a lot of our features, but especially with this thing that we're super excited about, which is StreamAlive running inside of PowerPoint. So you're looking at a PowerPoint deck, except a lot of the slides so far were authored by the audience in real time. And my presentation is literally being written by the Zoom chat as we go through. So people are saying what they feel about AI automating slide creation. And that's a lot of comments. And instead of reading all of them, I'm going to, in this slide, inside PowerPoint, actually going to summarize all your responses that you typed in Zoom. And really, if you think about it, I mean, PowerPoint first found life in courtrooms, boardrooms, classrooms, which were physical entities. And we use it in exactly the same way on Zoom and Teams, and nothing else for really capturing the fact that people are active in the chat, and that's what we want to change. So I get to say that here's a summary of what you all said. It enhances visuals, it struggles with contextual understanding. So I'm using AI to summarize human input, human experiences, and human conversations, right? I get to see a popular opinion of everybody's. Majority of people seem to be a little negative of it. I also get to hear if there are any alternative voices, which is a slightly positive view by about 30 to 40% of you, like Tina, who feels it's easy to create something that can then be edited. So so far we've been doing sessions where you ask people, hey, yes or no, tell me if you agree. Or you ask people apple, oranges, or bananas, ABC, polls. But people don't just think in closed ended systems, they think open ended. And that's what we're trying to capture and capture the human voice and synthesize it in real time. So a presenter who's not a professional facilitator like me can also still have an easy conversation. Just imagine how this will be in the hands of a lot of you who are, I know, professional facilitators, right? So the whole idea is a lot of presentations are still one-way monologues where presenters go talk. And those of you who are familiar with our philosophy know our philosophy is what it says on my t-shirt, which is unmute when you have 5 people, but right now you have 20 people. If you unmuted everybody, well, I'm sure everybody's voice is beautiful. It is going to be a bit of cacophony with 20 people talking at the same time. So what's the best way to unmute everybody? Chat. It's right under our noses. It's there on Zoom. It's there on Teams. It's there on Google Meet. And that's our core philosophy. Why not use the chat to give everybody a voice? So if we used AI on that, like I showed you, we could turn this into a real-time conversation. And a presenter can go listen, talk, which is a dialogue or a conversation rather than a monologue, right? I have a couple more questions, and you can see the loading time for the questions. I'm not proud of that, but that's something we're working on, and hopefully when you see future avatars, you'll see that the slide pops up a lot faster. Just to share, a lot of you I know are geeks, but I'll tell you something you're struggling with, which is that you got PowerPoint online, you got PowerPoint desktop, and by the way, please answer this question as well as you hear me. Hot ramen. Now I'm feeling hungry. Okay, what's your go-to comfort food? This is for me to illustrate some interesting features that we have over here. So please, everybody, just type your go-to comfort food and help me out with something interesting. I promise you it's going to look beautiful. So go-to comfort food, just type that out over here, please. Thank you. And as you do that, one of the things you've been struggling with is PowerPoint desktop, PowerPoint online, Windows, Mac, PowerPoint in edit slide mode, PowerPoint in full slideshow mode. You already got 2 times 2 times 2, which is about 8 different permutations and combinations. And that's kind of what is happening. I think there's one more variable which I forget at this point, but there's about 16 different manifestations of how it can come, and making it work perfectly in each of these is a big challenge, but we are increasingly close to solving it. So the glitches and it coming much faster are a lot better. But we are thrilled. It's the first time in 38 years that PowerPoint can ask people what their go-to comfort food is and have it show up on the presenter's screen so everybody feels collectively hungry. And just in case you're not hungry enough, I'm going to make it really bad by saying, those are yummy foods. Let's turn all your responses into images. So again, we're using a lot of AI, but it's in the service of human responses, human thought, human connection, and human conversation, right? So I don't know why it's biased towards a ramen. I'm going to ask it for a new image. Yeah, Arsenal, you had a lot of foods over here. Unless it's a bug and it's only taking the first response and visualizing that, but let's see what happens. Okay, give us a few more things over here. So, but you get the idea, right? I mean, get people's responses, collate it into a, visualize it, summarize it, basically allow, here's the gist of it, right? I mean, I've been presenting for a living all my life, and I like to think of it as, I also love comedy. I've done stand-up comedy in the Comedy Cellar, and I think a lot of presentations are like stand-up comedy. You rehearse them so much and you give this impression of rehearsed spontaneity, but you've rehearsed it. You have a script. You know exactly what you're going to say in the 3rd minute, the 5th minute, and the 7th minute. We just believe that presentations need to be a lot more like improv comedy because it needs to be two-way, not one-way. Stand-up comedy is one-way. Improv comedy is two-way, right? You unmute the audience to get their feedback, their suggestions, their voice, collect it and literally riff with it and make the chat stream alive, and hence the name. And all those platforms and logos that you see and are familiar with in the middle, including in-person and hybrid, I mean, where we do a phone-based chat, that's the only instance where we bring a phone in. But otherwise, all of them have chat. And the reason that is super, super, super important is because the best way to sabotage and kill your own presentations is to ask people to scan a QR code and give them the permission for technological distractions by getting onto their phone. Because guess what? No one can compete with this device. All right, that latest news alert, that latest TikTok thing, that latest Domino's Pizza's coupon that expires in 30 minutes. Good luck with having your presentation compete with that. And that's why a fundamental belief is one device only. So if a person is on a laptop attending a Teams or a Zoom session, why send them elsewhere? They are on Teams, they are on Zoom, they've got a chat, keep their attention here, keep their focus there. And we think that's going to transform all one-to-many sessions, especially training, all hands, onboarding, coaching, education. I think it's especially primed for those kind of use cases. Okay? Quick question, which I should probably have asked a lot earlier, and depending on the answer to this question, I might kind of change my script from this point on. I may not go through all the slides that I have over here that you see on the left-hand side, but have you used StreamAlive before? Oh, you got a lot of yeses. So you got a lot of people who use StreamAlive. All right. I spoke too soon.
I was going to say you spoke too soon.
But that's the beauty of it, right? I mean, you can have a conversation, you can assume something, you can veer around, and I was about to go in a certain direction, and then I'm thinking now we should go in a different direction. So you got
I would also go point out that the existing StreamAlive application is obviously works very, very well. What we're showing here is a brand new kind of feature app that we're developing, which is why some things are not quite as smooth as they should be. But for those that have already used StreamAlive, they know how stable and well it works.
Thank you. I should have probably added that as well. But Peter, do you think it's a good idea for me to jump into the StreamAlive web application and give a quick 5-minute tour of that?
Yeah, I mean, let's show the presentation builder.
Okay, let's see the presentation builder then. All right. Actually, let's do one thing. Let's try and break this. We haven't broken this yet, which is not a good sign. We normally break things very often, so we should break this. Let me actually create a new slide here. Let's do that. Okay, let's switch tracks. Go to the StreamAlive application. So, folks, since a lot of you are not familiar with StreamAlive, but the agenda for today was not a full intro to StreamAlive, and Peter, maybe we should do more of those going forward as well. But what I think we'll do today is just give a quick overview. So I'm going to switch tracks and jump on to my StreamAlive screen. And apologies to those of you who are very, very familiar with StreamAlive. I promise to keep this short so you don't get too bored and drop off. But if you haven't already, folks who are not familiar with StreamAlive, please go to streamalive.com. So the first thing you'll really, let me reduce my browser here so I can jump on. The first thing you'll really do is go to streamalive.com. Don't pay us yet. We'd be happy if you do, but don't buy a license yet. Go to StreamAlive, sign up for a free account. Allows you to try all these features for free. Make sure it works for you in your use case. You're happy with it, and then you can decide how you want to take it forward, if so. But this is enough for you to do everything that I'm showing you right now, which is for you to get onto the dashboard. And it's going to look something like this, but it's going to look a lot more naked for you because you won't have as many presentations as I do. I demo multiple times every day. So that's why I have a whole bunch of weird topics. In fact, if you see the demos I've done over here, please don't judge me, but you're going to see a lot of weird topics coming up here in a second. My internet connection is also a little spotty in Chennai and Madras where I am. So apologies for that. But so I've done something on travel, I've done something on launching a cake-based baking business, origami workshops, ice creams on the US East Coast, making memorable presentations, presenting the hook, line, and sinker method, and that somebody wanted to see, but a whole bunch of different presentations over here, which I've done to give people demos, right? So let me show you very quickly how it works. The root and heart of StreamAlive are these interactions, which are interactive slides, which are slides that don't talk, they listen. Right? Those slides always lived in StreamAlive, and what we demoed so far today was the ability for those slides to live outside of StreamAlive inside a PowerPoint slide. So that way you can do everything within PowerPoint. But let me show you how it looks inside StreamAlive. You would go to presentations, you could create a new presentation, you could add your interactions in there if you knew what you wanted to. So you could start blank and you could say, I want to create a new slide. I want to create a map which asks people where they're joining from, a poll, a word cloud, multiple choice question, talking tiles, Tetris inspired feature, an increasing library of various interactions powered by chat, right? Or if I wanted some help, I could say I want to create, slides with AI, and I could specify an audience. We can go all crazy here. So my colleague Peter Claridge is a parent of twins, so we shall say parents of twins. Peter, what's a topic you're going to tell future parents of twins?
Sleep. How to get sleep.
I mean, can you give a real plausible, genuine topic which we can actually address? Because how to get sleep, you're not going to get that for a very long time, but let's put it anyway. Good.
Let's see what it comes up with. How to get sleep with twins.
Okay. I'll get sleep with twins. And this is, you're doing this for parents of twins, right?
Yes.
Young twins? Because the twins are 20 years
Young
old.
twins. Yeah, you can put young twins. I mean, I'm curious. It might have some good information or good ideas for me.
All right, so my colleague Peter Claridge, who has very young twins and does not get much sleep, wants to, in future, once he's figured out how he's going to get sleep, run a session on how to get sleep with young twins, right? And Peter does not do static one-way presentation, so Peter wants to do an interesting interactive presentation. So Peter wants help coming up with interesting interactions, and StreamAlive's AI helps generate those interactions. So it says, why not kick it off with asking people, where are you currently raising your twins? In one word, what's your biggest sleep challenge? In a few words, what strategies have you discovered to synchronize your twins' sleep schedules, and so on and
That's
so
a
forth.
good question.
It
That is
is.
a good question. You've got to keep twins on a schedule.
What sleep strategy works best for you? I know you do staggered naps with your spouse, Peter. She's
Yeah.
complaining that she's taking a lot more of the load, so we know about that. But yes, this sounds like a legit question too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
How about we just add all of these questions? Okay, I'm going to add all of these questions, and I'm going to move everyone's thumbnail away from here so I can see the add button. There it is. And I've got all of these in a presentation right now. So I've got a 14 slide presentation that does not have a single talking slide. And every single slide is powered by what the audience will say. Now, if I had a few talking slides, like maybe I'm just going to pull up some random slides over here. This is not a slide related to sleep, but I'm going to pull it in because it's the only big visual slide I have. Fun fact for those of you unfamiliar with StreamAlive's founding story, this is a copy of a book I wrote during the pandemic. And to learn how to write a book, which those who've read the book say I didn't learn much of, I attended 56 live sessions on how to write, edit, and market a book. And that's where one of three things would happen. Presenters would just go talk, 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 talk. We would wait for the recording and watch it at 1.5 times the speed. Or the presenter would ask questions like, hey, where's everybody joining from? And then enthusiastically, about 150 people type answers, acknowledges three people and ignores the remaining 147. Or the presenter would do what, in my opinion, was the most brave thing, which is ask people to open out their mobile phone, scan a QR code, go to an app or a website and participate. And then he or she wouldn't know if they're on TikTok or somewhere else, right? But the chat was on fire. And that's what led to the idea behind StreamAlive. But coming back to how to help future parents of twins with sleep schedules. So I've got this presentation ready. And all I need to do if I wanted to run this presentation, I mean, I could import a whole bunch of other slides. And by the way, from feedback from people who present using PowerPoint, the number one negative feedback we got on StreamAlive so far was this, which is I don't want to import a PDF. I want to use this with my PowerPoint because my PowerPoint is rich and it's got animations and builds and embeds and other stuff. I want to use it as is. Why does that have to come into StreamAlive? Why can't StreamAlive come into PowerPoint? And that's why we spent a lot of developer cycles in the last couple of months focusing exclusively on this very challenging problem that you're helping us test today. Right? So at this point, with this presentation that we created on the fly using some AI help, I can actually present this right away on a Zoom session. but it wouldn't join the Zoom session because we are already running a StreamAlive presentation in a Zoom session. So what I'm going to do right now is actually going to riff this in real time. I'm going to go back to this presentation that we're running here, where it's connected to StreamAlive. I'm going to disconnect this one. And you can see it's a little stubborn with disconnecting. So that's also maybe a little bug we need to sort. No, it actually disconnected over here. So I'm going to come back here and I could run this on a Zoom session right now by simply giving StreamAlive the URL of the Zoom session, right? So if I did this and said I want to run it over here, do I want to show the instructions? Yes, I do. And you will see in a second a StreamAlive bot joining the meeting. My bot is called Lux bot, and the moment it kind of joins the meeting, which it just did, you folks can you, if you don't mind typing again as to where you're joining from, or let's pretend all of you are parents of twins. So can you tell us where you're raising your twins, and just type any city or country that comes to mind, please. All right, thank you very much. And let's have some fun with the visualizations. I'm going to change it to my favorite visualization, which is the globe. And I'm going to fly around the world as you tell me where you're raising your twins at. And Tina is raising them at, oh, you actually type Hogwarts, so it actually pulls it up on London. Oh, fun fact, people love to type Wakanda, Hogwarts, and everything, and all those are mapped as well. So Tina's got magical twins in Hogwarts. And AC is raising the twins in Moscow. And we got a lot of people raising twins here in the States. And I could go over there, and Lamantry is doing it in Dallas. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Patrick in Houston, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. So all I did was simply create those interactions, have the library of interactions, and I tell StreamAlive, I want you to run it off this Zoom meeting, and that's exactly what it's doing. And I can do a lot of other things at this point. I could, for example, do something like, I want one of you to actually unmute yourself and tell me about your raising your twins in the city that you mentioned. How do I choose one among everybody who's participated? I'm going to create a wheel from everybody who just answered that question which I asked. No effort, I did not have to type your names. StreamAlive automatically pulled everybody who responded to that last question, and it just missed Peter, who is a legit parent of twins, and Patrick. Either it's magically figured that you have twins as well, or you got to pretend and you have twins and unmute yourself and talk about your sleep challenges.
I actually don't have any twins.
Hey, as of today, you do right now. So, and we have it in recording, okay? Thank you for being a sport, Patrick. So you get the idea, right? It's a lot of fun. You can do a lot of interesting things with this. I could go back to this interaction over here. I could say, okay, let's visualize all the answers that all of you mentioned in the different countries that you did, and like we visualize those plates of food into a dining table with different plates. I don't know what's going to come up over here. We've got quite a few locations, but it's going to try and visualize as many of those as possible. That's quite cute. It's done something that looks like Hogwarts and cities and London and twins. So it's a picture that is, you will never see this picture again in any other Zoom session, I can promise you, okay? So that's the beauty. You're creating something that is unique to the moment, that is very, very spontaneous, that is actually like a conversation. Because that's the beauty of our conversations, right? You don't pre-plan where it's going. And speaking of not pre-planning, I have a sequence of interactions here. But if I wanted to do something totally random and I said, actually I want to ask something else, I could do that right now, right? I could say, how are you liking everything so far, right? So I'm suddenly switching tracks and saying, hey folks, I'd love to know how you're liking all these things that I've shown you so far. And I could have a different theme or color for this, right? And it's an emoji feature. You can only react with emojis. So if you type words, nothing's going to happen. So just react with emojis, please. Right. Thank you, AC. Absolutely. Using the wheel to welcome someone, to unmute and everything is a very important thing, because how else do you find someone randomly? But yeah, just it's a license for people to play around a little bit. This particular feature, just have a little bit of fun. We've been shocked by how many CEOs and CXOs use these in all hands, because it's literally giving permission for people to be like kids again and pull out their crayon box and scribble on the chat so that it comes up on the presenter's Zoom. And it's a lot of fun, right? So I could go totally off script, do things. Shanti, you have your hand up. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Please go ahead.
That's okay. So I am excited to get started, but I'm trying to understand, do I go into my PowerPoint and put the stream live in as an add-in, and then where do I work from? If I do that, then do I get all the StreamAlive options, or do I have to go and log into StreamAlive?
So great. I'm glad you asked that. I probably should have mentioned. Let me show you how the add-in works very, very quickly. So what happens is, I had something else I wanted to show as well, which I forgot. But let's go here, and let's say I have this slide here, and after the slide I want to add an interaction, right? So I just say new slide. I'm going to take everything on this new slide and delete it off, and I want to insert an interaction over here. So what I'm going to do here is go to my add-ins, and I'm going to add StreamAlive. Now, here's a catch. I have it because I have developer access to this and we've built it. But all of you who request access, please do give us the ID with which you access Microsoft PowerPoint and your Microsoft ID, whatever email you use to access Microsoft. For me, that is my personal ID at StreamAlive. And we will enable those with access to this app, and we're going to do it very, very soon. So we're going to use a SharePoint enabling of right now, because it's not public. It's only being given on a request basis, because something's broken, and it's the tacit understanding of, hey, play around, please give us feedback, but realize that we're still polishing things up. And once it's polished fully, what's going to happen is, if you go into the business apps thing over here and you search for StreamAlive, it will have a PowerPoint add-in, which it does not have right now. And we have an experimental Teams add-in that we're experimenting with. We have a PowerPoint add-in, but it's not publicly visible. It will be publicly visible down the line. So at this point, we will manually enable your access. But once we do that, you'll be able to go in, and like I'm seeing it here, you'll be able to click on this. And when you click here, it's going to create this embed. And then you kind of stretch it out to the size that you want. Mine is showing some stuff because I was playing around with it earlier, but yours will look something like this. And you have two options. You could go to interactions, and you could say, I want to add a magic map to PowerPoint. I don't think this works right now. Currently, I'll try it out, but I don't think it works in our current version. You would click on this, and it would add the map slide over here. And then you would do a similar thing for each slide that you wanted to do. Or what you would do is, again, let's try this out. You might have a 41 slide presentation like I do over here, which says virtual presentation skills for corporate meetings and all hands. You could insert your PowerPoint add-in over there, and you could say, I want to create a new presentation. In StreamAlive's lingo is a basket of interactions. And you would say, hey, I need some help. You remember earlier we went and said we want to do something on sleep schedules for twins and for parents of twins. Over here, you don't need to say anything, because the PowerPoint content is the context. So what StreamAlive is doing at this point, as it keeps showing us 3 dots in succession, and hopefully changes that soon, is go through those 41 slides that we've created over here, reads those slides, understands the broad context of those slides, and tells us that, what kind of interactions it thinks we might be good with for using for this particular presentation, right? So it's come up with a bunch of them here. So we are still refining this, but the font, for example, is very difficult to read black on blue, but this is a built-in eye test as well, so 2-in-1. But it's saying, why not start with after the slide that talks about virtual presentation skills for corporate meetings and all hands. So where is that slide? I mean, if I was, I'm the author of the presentation,
Yes,
so I
that's true, comma.
Right. Sorry, Gabriel, you had a question?
It was more a way of avoiding to upgrade Word again when I only bought the 2021 version. Haha, full stop.
You're unmuted,
I think
Gabriel.
older versions of PowerPoint work, right?
Older versions not fully tested, but I think they should work. It definitely works with PowerPoint online, and which was Gabriel one of the challenges you're talking about earlier, which is the fact that it's different on PowerPoint desktop, PowerPoint online. We're trying to harmonize that to the extent possible. But yes, it should work on both. So once you've added these, I can move these interactions around. So it's reading it and it's telling me, what defines a successful virtual presentation is a good question to ask after the slide on defining successful virtual presentations. So I got a slide on defining successful presentations, and why not ask the audience what they think defines a virtual presentation? And if I think this is a good idea, all I would need to do really is, and it's a one-time exercise when you're creating a presentation, I would simply move that to, let's say this is the position where, I don't know where that particular position was, but let's say it is this. I would simply go here. And at this point, I could, sorry, I'm moving too many things around. There we are. I could add that slide into my PowerPoint. Right. Let's try that again. Doesn't like it too much. Let's try it once more. Go into the presentation, what defines a successful presentation, and add the slide to PowerPoint. I might have broken it with too many things. Yeah, it worked. Third time lucky. So once I've added the slide to PowerPoint, and let's say I've done this 5 times, I could now duplicate the slide, add other slides. So you need to do this the first time you create your presentation. And once you've done that, if you connect any one slide to your platform, like we did earlier, to Zoom or Teams or Meet or wherever, the other slides automatically learn from this that they've got to read from that chat as well. So when you go to a map slide, it's looking out for a location. When you go to a word cloud slide, it's looking out for a single word. And if you want to see what it looks like, you can use an AI preview. So it tells you that when you ask this question, people hopefully give you good, thoughtful answers like these in the chat, and that's going to show up like this on your PowerPoint slide. So this is what we're giving beta access to. Does that help, Shanti? Super, thank you. Right.
Hey, Lux, we've had quite a lot of questions in the chat. I'm not sure if the bot has been running in the background picking up the questions.
I ran 2 bots, so if the questions came before the first bot, that disappeared with the first one that I did. But let's see what we got over here. So I'm going to pull up a new interaction, just pull up one for quick questions and hit go and see what comes up. All right, so this is the other feature we absolutely love. StreamAlive automatically picks up anything that smells like a question in the chat. And I mean, all of you are very, very polite and grammatically correct, where you've put all your questions with question marks at the end. So a lot of kudos and points for that. But even if you didn't, StreamAlive would pick up something that smells like a question and show it over here. So Gabriel, you had a question on, is it compatible with Apple Keynote and or a PDF like Adobe Acrobat? Unfortunately, no at this point. And candidly, no plans for either of those at this point, because, and I'll share the reason very quickly why. The Apple Keynote ecosystem does not have an app ecosystem like PowerPoint, so you cannot add an add-in anywhere in the Apple ecosystem, and therefore that is not possible, unlike Microsoft and Google, which have the entire ecosystem, or Zoom, right? Adobe Acrobat, we don't support, what is the Adobe presentation and Zoom equivalent, if I get the name of it, suddenly blanking out on the name, but we don't support Adobe right now. But if you're talking about PDF, yes, because you could go into a StreamAlive presentation at this point, like this one that I have, and you could import a PDF in over here. So with a PDF, that's really how you do it. You simply import your PDF in here, upload it, and move them around with your stuff. So PDF is supported right now. But people were not happy enough with that and wanted StreamAlive to be inside PowerPoint, and that's why we decided to torture ourselves with building what we're showing you here today. Is the visualization active with the browser version? Absolutely. So right now, what I'm demoing today, oh, thank you. I should have mentioned this. Last time we demoed the desktop version. This time, you're welcome, Gabriel. This time we are demoing the browser version. So we just keep alternating to see which one and to test stability. So all of you are really, really helping us out with testing in public, so to speak. Yeah. Email do you use to ask questions? Just send us an email to hi@streamalive.com.
Lux,
And
actually, I'm just going to put you on the spot here.
please,
With all of the beta testers, I think we've got about 20 people who've put their hand up and said, I'd love to test out this PowerPoint app. Should we create either a Slack channel or on our community.streamlive, create a separate forum for everyone to, like, as they've got questions, as they find bugs, and again, just let everyone see what's happening and see the progress there. Should we
that's a
just
great idea,
push
actually.
support over to community, our community?
Let's move to the community, actually, I think, right? What do you think?
Yeah.
So folks, if you're not familiar, what Peter is talking about is if you go to, since I got the screen share, Peter, shall I just go ahead and share that quickly?
Yeah.
So if you go to streamalive.com and click on the community tab out there, if you click on forums, that's our community over here. And again, my internet connection is very slow here today. We've had a huge downpour and thunder and lightning happening. So everything's a little all over the place. And a lot of wires in India are overhead. So when trees fall and stuff, things get a little crazy. Yeah, but I digress. Coming back here. So Peter, we'll create a new channel maybe exclusively for PowerPoint, and people can request to join that or join that, and then we can have a conversation there. How about that?
Yeah, I think that works.
Perfect.
And then
So
everyone can learn from everybody else and see what's happening. And if someone's figured out a fix for something, or if someone's struggling, everyone can help each other.
I love that. Let's do that, please. Yes. So folks, if you can go to the community and sign up, and we don't make this clear enough, but this sign up is different from your StreamAlive account because this is a different app altogether. It's a community forum thing. So you'll need to, unfortunately, the two don't talk to each other. So you will need to sign up here and join the community, please. And we will have a StreamAlive PowerPoint channel here where we will share more and more of these. So great idea, Peter. Let's do that. I did not show you one important thing for those people who are not familiar with StreamAlive. And right now I'm fortunate to have a very enthusiastic and helpful audience of 20 people pretending to be parents of twins and giving me answers over here and helping me test this in real time. But most of you will not have this beautiful benefit. So I want to show you how it works in that case, where all you need to do is you've got your presentations that you created. I showed you how easy it is to create a presentation. Let's go back to the one we just did once my internet starts behaving.
One of the questions there was quizzes, Lux. Quizzes like poll everywhere.
Oh yes, quizzes. So yes, short answer is yes, we have quizzes. And whoops.
We have a brand new version of the quiz coming out very soon as well. I'm not sure if it's ready to be shown in public yet, but if it is, I definitely think we should.
Yep. So I just got a screenshot of this. I noticed there's a bug on it. Didn't name the presentation, but this is a presentation we just did with the twins. I'm just going to load that up. And just to add a little more color to what Peter said, yes, on quizzes. Right now, you could actually create a multiple choice question, which is what are equivalent for a quiz. But I'll be the first to admit it's a little boring, because all it does is allows you to specify a few options and pre-specify which of those is the correct one and reveal it down the line. It's not gamified and fun enough. So what we're doing is we've been revamping this for the last 2 months. And I think in about a week or two, we should be ready to announce this. And it's if I may say so myself, it's pretty amazing. It's going to have a leaderboard. And for those of you familiar with Kahoot, a lot of Kahoot-like fun in some ways, except you don't need to send people to their phones to participate. They would be participating from the chat itself. Right. What I want to show you here is, yes, so I've got this presentation I created. I used AI to create the interactions. I added a couple of static slides. Gabriel, again, I just added a PDF in here. So this is an example of a PDF that I added into my presentation, right? And now I want to run this, but I'm a little lonely. I don't have anybody else who is there with me. It's just me, and I'm not even on Zoom right now. Let's pretend. And I want to see what this will look like when I do this fantastic presentation on how to get sleep for parents of twins. I could click on the preview here. Those of you who are not familiar with StreamAlive will absolutely love this because it allows you to quickly get familiar with StreamAlive. What it's doing here is creating an entire simulation of the presenter screen. And if you want to see a full simulation of what it looks like in the platform, you could open what we call simulated platform view. So if I were to open simulated platform view over here, did it open it? There it is. I didn't click that properly. I think I'm very light on my fingers today and the clicks are not going strong enough, but it's opening a simulated platform view here. Again, very slow on my side with the internet, but what it's trying to do is show me what it will look like in my platform of choice. So it's telling me that if I were running this in Zoom, people would be typing in the Zoom chat as all of you did a little while back, and those answers would manifest on my screen like you see over here, right? If we were running a static slide, it's not really running much. If you were running a word cloud, people asking what's your biggest sleep challenge, people will hopefully give answers like this in the Zoom chat, and the presenter screen being shown back to them will look like this. How does it look in Microsoft Teams? Very similar, because Microsoft Teams also has a chat on the right hand side. How will it look on YouTube? It has a chat on the right hand side. Google Meet, you get the idea. So everything's powered by chat. The chat is on the right hand side for every single platform. And that's what StreamAlive is reading. So people don't go somewhere like a phone or a QR code, they simply type in the chat. And that brings the presenter screen to life. So the presenter screen is literally the presenter just sharing the screen, having fun with it, asking people what's your biggest sleep challenge, and people giving all of these answers, and the presenter screen coming up like this. And the reason we built this very, very, very powerful simulator is so you can get a glimpse into the future to see what your session will look like when you use StreamAlive, and also get a glimpse into things that you could play around with. So if you get answers like this and you wanted to change those into images, I'm a sucker for this. Sorry, I love playing with the images and seeing how the AI visualizes human thought and human input. So what's your biggest sleep challenge? Peter, we've got this for you for your sleep challenge. You should take a printout of this and put it next to your bed so you can go to sleep. Yeah.
I think it's mocking me. It's showing someone peacefully sleeping.
Again, if Peter were running this session and asking people, what unique strategies have they discovered, and they give these answers, which are very thoughtful, you can see the AI is actually simulating what kind of answers you hope you would get from your audience in response to a question like this. So we're very, very proud of this because it allows you to see what your session for your topic and your audience will look like, right? And then you can say, okay, if I got answers like this, if I were to click on summary, what would happen? It creates a summary. The AI creates an AI summary of the AI generated answers that are emulating human responses. So it's a little too Inception-like right now, but you get the idea. The objective is play around with the app a lot more in a safe space and get familiar with everything, so that when you're actually presenting, you kind of know how it's going to be, right? So that's kind of what we're trying to do over here. And if you have somebody who's, you're presenting maybe for somebody else, and you say you want to use StreamAlive, and they say, what's StreamAlive? And you say, okay, let me show you. You can simply take the share, copy this preview link and send it to them and say, this is what my presentation is going to look like. And they say, oh, how's it going to look like on Zoom? We run this on Zoom, copy the simulated platform link. It will copy the other one and send it across. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to visualize their sessions and help others visualize the session as well. Right? Polls. So you can visualize the entire session with responses depending on the questions you've put. Okay. We did the emoji thing earlier. Over here, it's simulating emoji responses around sleep for obvious reasons. But we're very, very proud of this, as is fairly obvious, because it gives you a real feel of how beautiful the session can be. Right? So again, you can ask people, how helpful was my session? They give you a score of 1 to 5. Hopefully you do better than this score of an average of 3 or 2.9 or something, but StreamAlive is calculating a real-time average. This is the multiple choice question, so you could ask what is an effective strategy and then show the correct answer, which is staggered shifts. You could choose a winner, and people give all these different, they have these questions in the chat, and you could it's pulled up a wrong presentation title, so I had a different title in my presentation, and it's going to take a screenshot of this to share it with my colleagues as well. But it's going to pull up all the questions and put it here like we did a little while back. Any links that people share would be curated and collated, and finally I would get a leaderboard of who participated. And at the end of all this, I'm just going to exit from here, I would also get a ton of analytics. So this is a session we actually ran with one of our guest speakers, so therefore I have access to its analytics. But I could tell you how amazing this session was, who participated. I could tell you how the chat was on fire each time she used StreamAlive, which is the colored bars. She ran a 60-minute session, horizontal axis, vertical axis, comments per minute. Look at the recurring pattern. There's a spike each time she used StreamAlive. Why? Very, very simple. This amazing speaker simply asked questions like, hey, where are you joining from? What do you do? She knew she had marketers in the room. She asked marketers marketing questions. She asked them, what is a differentiator for your brand and product? And 44 people gave responses and felt she was individually talking to each and every one of them. And at the end of it, StreamAlive generated all these beautiful images so she could put it into a newsletter and share with people what a beautiful session she had. Right? So this is the final part of it in terms of giving you analytics. So that's just a quick introduction for those of you who are not so familiar with StreamAlive, and hopefully that helps you get a lot more familiar and use it. But really, just play around with it. And what Peter was saying is, this is the web application. This has been what we've been working on for so long. Thank you. And the number one request we've had is, I love this, but can you do everything inside a PowerPoint slide so that I can write my slides in PowerPoint and just put in StreamAlive interactions whenever I need to? And that turned out to be a much more technically challenging problem than we thought. And that's kind of what we are addressing right now, where you could run a slide like this, and then you go to a slide like this. So I'm talking, I'm listening, I'm talking, I'm listening, I'm having a conversation.
Lux, I don't know if you can do it on the online version, but what we learned the other day about the sections and being able to zoom to a interaction actually within the slides, not just a set, like an interaction on a separate slide, but an interaction on your existing slide. I mean, I thought that was amazing.
I love that too. I found out that's a limitation with PowerPoint Online, though.
Okay.
So you could create it here. I think this is what you were asking, right? You could do it here. You could add a section here, and I could say I've got a separate section where I got my interactions, correct?
Yeah.
But if I wanted to insert this here as a Zoom, I can't do that in PowerPoint Online. That is only supported in PowerPoint Desktop. So if I wanted to say this slide needs to zoom into that interaction and come back, I think it's very cool. But yeah, PowerPoint doesn't support that in the PowerPoint Online. So the insert zoom, you can see there's a whole bunch of inserts over here, but there is no insert zoom.
Okay.
I mean, the PowerPoint, I think I should be able to demo what you're asking. Peter, I trust you to ask something that is not possible. Thank you. I thought you were on our side.
But also the fact that you can actually put the interaction in an existing slide. Like right now, you're doing each interaction on its own individual slide. It doesn't have any other content on it.
Oh, yes, that's a great point.
You can
Thank you.
actually put this map on an existing slide, or you can put the poll on one of your existing slides.
Thanks for mentioning that. Absolutely, we can. So if we were to, so what Peter is saying here is, I could come in here and let's pull that up here. I don't know if my add-in for PowerPoint Desktop is enabled, but there's only one way to find out, which is try it. And if I were to insert my StreamAlive here, I don't have to do it in a blank slide. I've been giving you the impression that you need to do everything in a blank slide. What Peter is saying is we could very well add this slide on an existing PowerPoint slide. Right? You can see, no, Peter, I don't have the latest add-in here, but I think let's give it a shot. I could move this like this. And let's say I move this here. So I could do something like this where I could literally have this come
But
on.
I'm thinking like you ask a person a poll while you're talking through the slides. And so in the background, people are participating while you're talking, so you're not just pausing and waiting for people to vote or anything like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You could do that as well. Yes. So if I were to ask an open-ended question or a poll or something like that, I could run that over here. And let's say I have a poll, and I were to add that in here, and my poll is running here right now, and I'm talking about it, and people are responding, and as they're responding, the poll is coming to life as well. So the slide has me talking and the responses coming in at the same time. So Peter's point was we don't have to have this exclusively on a slide. And what Peter was trying to say earlier was the ability to zoom in. So this insert zoom is a pretty powerful PowerPoint feature. It's a more advanced one, but it's not there in PowerPoint online. So I could, for example, go to a slide here and say zoom into a section like this one, or whoops, or let's say zoom into a slide and say on the slide I want to zoom into this particular interaction. And this looks pretty cool when you actually run it, but again, it's a very advanced feature here, but the end effect is pretty funky. You could be on a slide like this, you could click on this and it zooms in on that, and then you could come back to the original slide, talk about it, and then say, okay, let me get your opinion, folks. Jump in there, have that interaction running, right? So if this was running this way, I would have the interaction running over here, and then you come back to the previous slide and so on. But a lot of things can break in a scenario like that, so I'm just showing it because Peter decided to put me on the spot and ask this difficult question, but we don't recommend this as a supported feature right now. We're just playing around with some wild stuff internally, and he thought it would be a cool idea to share that as well. Peter, we are on
Lux,
time. Yeah,
I realize we're at the top of the hour. A couple more questions.
please.
Gamma, Canva, and Google Slides. When is that going to be supported?
Gamma, we're going to come up with a mock-up version, but there are a few technical challenges which are totally different in Gamma, where we need to create an embeddable object out of StreamAlive which you can embed into any Gamma, and we're going to do that next. What is the next one? Canva
Canva, yeah.
and Google Slides, right?
Google Slides, yes.
So Canva and Google Slides, we haven't researched it enough. The embeddable object is possible in PowerPoint with a fair amount of engineering, which is what we're showing you over here. It is relatively easier in Gamma because Gamma supports the ability for something to jump onto, jump onto an embed within Gamma itself. So that's kind of what we're looking to do. With Canva, not sure because Canva's embed. Yeah, you could just upload the Stream Deck into StreamAlive directly, and that would be the easiest way. In which case, design it beautifully in Canva, bring it in, and you could do that. And with Google Slides, again, Google Slides doesn't, from our research so far, which is, I'll admit, not comprehensive, doesn't seem to support embeds like PowerPoint and Gamma. But we could be wrong on that, and if so, we will look at Google Slides down the line. But PowerPoint is the major one we're looking at. And can you run StreamAlive as a standalone app within Zoom, or do you need to run it as a kind of PowerPoint plugin? No, within Zoom. Great. So let me actually share my screen here, and I'm going to change my settings on my Zoom share here, so that when I share my screen, you can see all my ugly Zoom windows as well, because I will need that to show you what's happening here. So I'm going to share my desktop, and you should be able to see everything, including the sharing bar and the chat on the right hand side and everything, right? Just give me a thumbs up if you can, please, folks. Yeah, cool, perfect. So we've got a StreamAlive app on Zoom as well. Some of you might use it, be using it. If not, please do go there and check it out. But if you go to apps, there's something called a StreamAlive app. And if you were to pull the StreamAlive app, it would simply ask you, okay, where are you running it? I'm running it in a meeting. And you could run an ad hoc interaction. You just want to ask people where they're joining from. You simply say, I want to run magic maps, or you could pull one of your presentations over here. So I have a presentation on beekeeping. I have no clue why I have a presentation on beekeeping, but I have a presentation on beekeeping, and you're going to run my presentation on beekeeping. I think I'm logged into a different account over here, but I could pull that up. I could say present, and this is synced up with the browser account that we have. So all it does is pulls up my presentation within Zoom. So as you can see, I have not left Zoom at all. Is that showing up in full screen? Peter, you're able to see my full screen here right now?
Yes.
Yes. So I just need to, of course, in a session, what I would do is share the screen with my audience so they would see it. Because normally I would not share my entire Zoom window like I'm doing. I'm doing that here to demo to you how I'm using a Zoom app within Zoom. But normally I would not do that. I would just share this screen. And again, if you folks want to tell me which city has the best environment for beekeeping, it should be able to pull that up. Oops, where is that? As you can see, if you share your screen with this, a lot of things keep changing around there. And that's why I don't usually do it. But if you were to type responses, Peter, can I type some city here? You can put some. Thank you. It works exactly like that. So I have not left Zoom at all. I've pulled up everything from within Zoom. I can author my presentations on the browser and run them entirely within Zoom. If I just want to run one single interaction, I don't even need to author it. I just need to say, hey, I feel like running a map now or a poll now, and I could do that too. So it's designed for, so we want to create apps for everywhere that people present and everywhere that people create presentations. So people present in Zoom, so we have a Zoom app. People create presentations in PowerPoint and therefore the PowerPoint app. But since we're talking about the Zoom app, I would love to share something we are very, very proud of over here as well. If you go to the Zoom app marketplace, which has all of, about 3,055 apps. If you see their featured app, so this is the Zoom app marketplace, marketplace.zoom.us. If you see their AI apps, StreamAlive is actually the #1 AI app. If you see their employee engagement app, it's the #1 employee engagement app. And this is something I'm especially proud of. If you see their apps for education, we are top of the list for apps for education. So yes, please use the StreamAlive Zoom app. Just go to your Zoom apps, search for StreamAlive, and use it, play around with it. I think different people have different preferences. We just trying to make it in whatever way some people like to share their browser. Some people like to run everything without Zoom, without having to go somewhere else. People like Syed have multiple monitors and are very, very good with using Stream Decks and OBS and have a different workflow. We're trying to support as many preferences as possible. And the latest one in that sequence is the PowerPoint one over here. Hope that helps. Sorry, a bit of a long answer to your question, but and I'm just going.
I'd say if anyone has more questions, the community.streamalive.com is the place to ask and get responses.
Absolutely. So please do join us there. Sign up there if you haven't already. Join the soon to come PowerPoint channel that Peter has volunteered to create and moderate, and look forward to seeing you there. And if you want, what do we need to do for access as well, Peter? You got one more question for you, by the way. Are you in Oxford? No, you're not. You're where are you in the UK again?
I'm south of Oxford, in Reading.
Reading. Peter, what do people do for beta access once again, please?
So they can email us hi@streamalive.com, and they can send us your Microsoft login, Microsoft email that you use to log into Microsoft account. Because what we have to do is we have to give each email address access to the app. So without your Microsoft email, we don't know, or it doesn't know who to give it access to. Once you've got that, you'll get a notification saying that you've got permission to install the PowerPoint app in your PowerPoint's software, whether that's on the desktop or on the browser. And yeah, we're going to create some help videos as well. We'll share the recording of this webinar as well, so you can reference it. But we'll also record help videos of how to find the app in the Microsoft App Store and how to add it into your PowerPoint, and then how to log into that, and then how to add all your interactions, that kind of thing. So all of that's coming. I think we still need to do a bit more testing and tweaking of the app before we give everyone access, but hopefully by next week we should be up and running with that.
I think we should probably give it next week with, even if it means giving it a few disclaimers. And the biggest one is please don't use it fully in a production environment unless you have an audience like I've been fortunate to have today who are comfortable riffing with you in public, allowing things to break and collectively figuring out the future of presentations, which all of us hopefully believe is conversational and a two-way conversation. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Have a lovely rest of your day. Have a lovely weekend. Take care. Stay well.
Everyone have a great weekend. Thanks everyone. Bye.